Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caroline and today's day 12 of 30 days commitment to embodiment journey. In today's video, I want to talk about you can't serve two masters. So I was brought up in a Christian household, so I'm familiar with, some Bible verses and all of that jazz. And so the inspiration for this video comes from that verse from the Bible. So I'll read it to you. It's from Matthew 6:24. And it says, "No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other." Now, in the Bible, it refers to serving God and money, but really it's about the conflicting allegiances. You can't give your full energy, your loyalty, your beliefs to two opposing systems, okay? Sorry, I had to change rooms because the fridge decided to make the noise again, and you're gonna hear the dog. He's sniffing around and doing his thing. All right, so I want to give you an example about serving two masters. Now, I say the scripture says masters, but really here what I'm talking about or referring to are the two different identities that are corresponding to the embodiment of the new version of yourself versus being embodied by the old or former version of yourself. So to make the conversation easy, we're going to talk about the former self or former identity, the old identity, and the new one, okay? Of the same person, of course. Now, let's use an example. Let's say someone decides to become a marathon runner, okay? Now, the old version of themselves, the old identity, has the thoughts and beliefs that say, I'm not a runner, I'm not athletic, I'm not built for it. When I see people run, I'm like, damn, like how do they do it? I could never. That set of thoughts and beliefs, okay? Between you and I, if the new version of themselves, the one that decides to become a marathon runner, will not share these same thoughts, right? They're not going to share the same beliefs because in order to accomplish running a marathon, they're going to have to operate from a completely different system, like belief system, thought system, inner dialogue, their actions, everything is going to have to be aligned with accomplishing running a marathon. So it's not just two different identities or masters, it's really two different operating systems that, one accomplishes this result, the other one accomplishes this other result. They're completely different, even within the same one person. So now the new identity, the one that says I can run a marathon, is challenging the old one, right? There's going to be a lot of friction, a lot of inner resistance, because the old one is going to fight to stay alive, right? The old one likes to stay in comfort, in their comfort zone, which is maybe, we go to work, we wake up half an hour before we have to go to work, have a few cookies for breakfast, go to work. For lunch, we'll have, fast food, and then come home and, have some dinner and watch a few shows, watch a couple of movies, relax on the couch. And then when it's time to go to bed, just shower, do their night routine and go to bed. Whereas the new version, the one that says I'm going to run a marathon, or actually I ran the marathon, I am a marathon runner. That version is probably going to wake up early in the morning. I'm giving examples. I never ran a marathon, but I assume, okay? But chances are they'll wake up early in the morning, maybe to do some early morning training. They'll pay attention to the foods that they eat because they want to fuel their bodies correctly so that they can accomplish this goal. Maybe at night, again, they go for a run. Maybe they join a running club, get a trainer, whatever else somebody has to do to run a marathon, okay? But they'll prepare accordingly. The same way that in one of my last videos, I talked about when I decided to become a yoga teacher, I immediately shifted into that version of myself and I reorganized my time, my schedule, my energy in order to prepare for the yoga teacher training, which I knew was going to be intense, right? So immediately I just started like doing regular practices of the physical postures, studying the philosophy, going to train my body with a training group, and so on and so forth. I did everything according to that identity, the new version of myself, okay? So at the end of the day, you can't serve both masters, or you can't serve both identities, both embodiments all at once, because they're conflicting, right? One wants to stay in their comfort zone of, you know, Netflix at night on the couch with chips, popcorn, and a lot of wine, and maybe a stronger drink, a little nightcap. Whereas the other one is, okay, maybe we'll watch a show or a movie while we have a, you know, a delicious, nutritious meal. But before that, we'll go for a run, or maybe afterwards, we'll maybe hit the gym, go to bed early so I can wake up early in the morning and not feel sluggish, maybe not even drink alcohol or keep it to a very minimum, maybe just like once on the weekend. They'll rearrange their lives accordingly, right? So at the end of the day, a choice has to be made. Every day, this choice has to be made in your behavior, in your self-talk, in your routines, in your habits. You have to stay aware of yourself and ask yourself, who am I serving right now with the way that I think, the way that I speak, the way that I feel, the way that I act, my habits, my routines, my behaviors? Who is all of this serving? The old version of myself who likes to enjoy Netflix every night. I'm giving that example. There's nothing wrong with enjoying yourself on your couch, okay, by the way, because I do that too sometimes. Sometimes I just want to rest, put on Netflix or Prime, whatever, watch a movie or two, have a glass of wine, okay? This is not, it's not one extreme to the next, okay? But just so we understand each other with my example, you can't serve that version of yourself who stays in front of the TV, eats junk food, drinks a lot of alcohol, a lot of beers, and goes to bed very late at night, wakes up 10 minutes before they have to go to work, and think that they're going to achieve running a marathon, even though everything is possible. But if we're going to keep it real, not properly training for it is going to make achieving that goal much, much, much more difficult, right? Let's be honest. Whereas if you're serving the identity that will do everything in their power to prepare their bodies, their mindset to achieve that goal, chances are they're gonna reach it. And what happens is, over time, the more you choose consciously to serve the new identity, the one that says, I am a marathon runner, at first maybe, okay, there's resistance, there's a fight between the old and the new version of yourself. But the more you choose to serve the new identity, again, in mind, in spirit, in heart, in body, in thoughts, in talk, in actions, in feelings, the more you serve, even if sometimes you waver in between the two, but then you bring yourself back to the new version, it's not going to be, will come a day where it's not about trying to embody that new version anymore. You will be it, okay? You will be it. Maybe the old self here and there will be like, hey, remember me? And it'll be easier to say, no, thank you, but no, I have new goals. I embody a new version of myself, and you no longer fit here. That's like wearing a size 6 shoe, and the person is growing up, their foot now needs a size 7 shoe. They're a size 7, but they still try to fit their foot in a size 6 shoe. It's going to be uncomfortable as fuck. Like, why do that to yourself? No, your foot grew because, somebody is in the stage of growing, and their foot, followed suit and became a foot that fits in a size 7 shoe. Then why try to go back to shoes that are too small for you now? Get new shoes that fit your foot comfortably so you can walk around easily. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with that embodiment. Once you embody that new version of yourself, you're size 7 now. You don't need to go back to size 6. There are probably some things from the former version of yourself that you will take with you into the new one, right? Because not everything is wrong. Not everything doesn't match anymore. Not everything doesn't correspond to the new vibration. But there are certain things, you'll have to make certain executive decisions where, okay, well, I can't serve this old identity anymore when it comes to this, and that. Especially, let's say, if it comes to being a marathon runner, let's say drinking beers all night and eating junk food and going to bed late at like 1, 2 a.m. You can't expect yourself to wake up at 5 a.m. fully energized to go for a run, right? So you have to make that conscious decision to serve the new identity, the new master, okay? And from that point on, your new self becomes the authority that you serve. Okay, so you serve all the beliefs, all the thoughts, the talk, the actions. I keep repeating myself, but it's really to bring that point home, that it's on every level that you will have to stay aware of who you are, being conscious of yourself, so you can make decisions, choices that are in alignment with the new self, that serve the new self and what it embodies. And so from there, you will magnetize into your life everything that is corresponding energetically to your new self. So manifesting things that are in alignment with your new self. So to give you a quick update on my journey in relation to what I'm talking about in this video today, this is an exercise that I've implemented to stay aware, stay conscious of which identity am I serving? Am I following through with? Whose orders I receive and I actually put into action, put into effect. I pay attention when certain beliefs or thoughts or inner talk come, or even actions come from my former self. And not to say that my former self is all wrong. Again, no. There are a lot of things that I'm carrying with me towards my new version, my new embodiment, because really it's an extension. It's a graduation from where I used to be. You know, when it comes to a level of consciousness, if I operated from this level of consciousness, but now I graduated to another one, right? That's more expanded. So a lot of things will come into the new one because they work. They serve me very well. But there are some elements that I know for a fact come into conflict with the new embodiment. So I stay aware. In yoga, we call that exercise Svatiyaya, self-inquiry, self-study, observing yourself, observing your inner world, your thoughts, the way you speak to yourself. It always comes back to that. The way that I feel in my body, paying attention to what's going on within, so that when I'm triggered or when I feel like it's something that I'm about to do something or say something that comes from my former self, and that thing is not in alignment with the new self, I can catch it. I can catch it almost instantly, and then, you know, put a big stop to it and say to that version of myself, like, oh, no, I got it from here. Thank you for your concern. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Thank you for wanting to take control of the steering wheel, you know, in this situation that, you know, I'm facing at this very moment. But my new version of myself got it. It will lead us where it has to lead us. I know it doesn't feel comfortable. I know this is not what you're used to, what you're familiar with. This is brand new and it can be scary. You just want to keep me safe and secure. I understand and I thank you. I acknowledge what you're trying to do for me. I speak to my former self like that, right? And then letting her know my new self got it. Like, I trust her. We trust her. Let's trust her. It's all me, right? But this is how I speak to myself in my head. Like, we trust this new direction that we're taking, this new embodiment, and the authority that it represents, and the way that it asks us to serve this energy in order for us to fully be it and to receive from it and to give from it, right? So to live from it, to lead from it, from that version, okay? So I hope it all makes sense. Okay, it's one thing when I write about this stuff, but then it's a whole other when I speak about it. So many thoughts come to mind, but this is pretty much the gist of it. So you can't really serve two masters, or in this case, two identities, the former self with the new self. If there's a lot of conflict or a lot of differences when it comes to the core foundational principles that you live by, your belief systems and all that jazz, if they're different, you know, if they're really different, you will feel that conflict, and you can't be both at the same time. You know, you'll self-sabotage. Chances are you'll self-sabotage. So you'll have to make a choice every day. You have to choose which identity, well, master, but which identity do I serve? The old one, and we know where the old one leads, or the new one, and we open ourselves up to something completely new and different. If you remember in the movie The Matrix, that scene when Neo, the very first one, when Neo had to choose, when he was in the car with Trinity and the two other ones, I forget their names, and he had to choose at that moment to stay in the car or to get out of the car and go back to his old life. And Trinity tells him, like, as he opens the door, she says, look behind you, like, look down the path. You know where that road leads. If you want to go back, go back. You know exactly what's waiting for you, his 9-to-5 job and whatever life he was living. She's like, you know where it leads to, so feel free to go back. But if you want to experience something new, and in her mind she knew, embody Neo, you know, then you're going to stay in this car, shut the door, and we're going to go, and you're going to find out. And this is the choice you have to make every day until it becomes natural for you to be fully embodied with the new self. Okay, so that will be all for today. If you watched until the end, let me know your thoughts in the comments. What are your thoughts about what I shared? And I will see you tomorrow for day 13. So if this video resonated with you, if this is your vibe, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Have a great day. Peace.